Hello guys, it's Tonton from State 948. Welcome to a new video on my channel. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday. It's Sunday morning, kind of just woke up. Making a quick video, or not that quick I guess, about state transfer. Before I go for the day, there are many things that you might not find on YouTube about it. Not that they are hidden, but that because people often just explain how things work and not what you can do with it. So I'll cover how things work for state transfer, and I'll tell you as well what to do, how you can, benefit from transferring, or how you can benefit from recruiting, right? So on Sunday, when like they do state transfer most of the time every 4 weeks. And sometimes it got delayed if there is an event in between, or they do state merger. So they do state merger every 4 to 6 months. The next time they do merger, it might go to state around 900,000. So we might be in it. Not the next time, but the one after. So around summer, if they do run around July, August, we should be in it basically, more or less. So it's around generation 7 they do state merger. So merger, they pick 2 or 3 states and they put them together, and you keep your power, you keep everything, but you have to rebuild banners and you have to rebuild everything on the state. So you have to distribute the territory between all the alliance from all states, and then that could be a bit troublesome. So if you know that if you are below state 1,000, that likely between June and August and maybe September you will have a merger. So that's something to think of and to prepare at the state. But today is not the topic of state merger, it's state transfer. So state transfer every 4 to 6 weeks in average. We had it delayed probably because of the second anniversary event, so we have it right now instead of 2 weeks ago. That's okay. What you can see on the screen first is at the top you have the week. It lasts a week, right? And I'll cover the phases and how it works. Then you have the transfer cost. So you see, for me to transfer, I need 9. I got 14. So if I wanted to, I could. And transfer is based on many things, but mostly on furnace, chief gear, hero charm, hero gear, and pet power, right? So the amount of troops you have do not increase the amount of transfer cost. So it's not because you have a lot of troops that you have a very high transfer cost. It's because you have very high chief gear and everything. So some of our biggest players, they need right now 45 this time. So every time as the game progress, it costs less and less to transfer with the same power. So these people used to need 50, now they need 45. So see, I only need 9, so I'm not that strong. If you are weaker, you might need 4, 5, 6, if you're not as strong and you don't spend anything on the game. So that's why when I'm suggesting you get enough for 2 or 3 transfers, assuming that on your state something goes wrong, you are, having a new alliance coming in and they are messing up your states, your whales decide to leave the state or leave the game, an alliance decide to leave your state and your state become not active enough for whatever reason, you want to have passes, transfer passes, so you can transfer, because the only way to get them is from the alliance shop once a week for free, at the free to play, right? So they got 150k. If you want to buy them, regular packs, and they are the bottom transfer pass. So you see that you get 1 pass and nothing else, nearly a bit of resources, a bit of speed ups, but very little, for 6 euros. So you get 2 passes for 12 euros. You get probably 4 passes for 24 euros. Maybe you get even 3 because often the percentage goes down. And that's resetting once a month. That's a monthly pack. So if you want to buy extra passes and you want to buy them cheap, you maybe need to buy the 6 euro and 12 euro packs every month, and that's 18 euro for 3 passes. And if you need 20, that's a shit ton of money. So you always want to anticipate your passes. You always want to get some from here. Especially nowadays, like Alliance Showdown is giving Alliance token, Alliance Mobilization is giving tokens, you get some from Alliance Triumph, so you get so many that you can easily buy it. So I'll suggest to buy it and to get twice the amount of what you need. So you might not like your new state, you know, or your new state might die again if you are unlucky. So I suggest you have the amount of what you need twice the amount. So if you need 5, buy 10 and then stop buying and buy something else, something like that, just in case you need it. And I think that's really important to enjoy the game. I've seen situations where people were forced to change state because just their state went, you know, everything was nice and, you know, from one day to another because two elves decided to go, and so you cannot win castle battle anymore. So some other people decide to transfer, and then it's a cascade, right? From we do well and things are okay, you go from it's going to shit and my state is being dead and inactive, and, you know, I can't have fun anymore. So always have some tickets. Buy them for free from your alliance shop. Always got some. The other thing that you can see, it's called that phase 1 pre-transfer. So it starts on Sunday and lasts for 3 days. So the president will be able to set the transfer cap. So your president is able to change that amount. For us, it's the maximum you can go to. But let's say you don't want any wells to transfer or any strong player to transfer, you can put it lower. There are 3 phases. So that preparation phase where you basically your president can change the name of your state. You can give it a name. So for us, we call it SVS focused. Change the language. So for us, we welcome all languages. And you can set the power. So you can see some states are setting it to the minimum power, and some states are setting it up to the maximum power. Why it is important is there are 3 phases. Phase 1, so you prepare. So that's, you know, you start to have your transfer chat available, so you can start to recruit, you can start to make arrangement with people, you can, you know, if you are looking for a new state, you can post and say, I'm looking for a new state. So you can start to prepare things in terms of settings for the transfer, and you can start to look for player, and you can start to look for a new state. I suggest to do that before the state transfer comes. So if you are looking for players, you should have them agreed on how many and their power, and do they need what kind of invite they need. You should have sorted that before transfers ideally. And same if you are looking for a state. Like if you are searching for a state today, you might not find the states you want. Like all the good states, they have a waiting list. Any good state more or less have a waiting list. If a state, you know, get you immediately, either they have a few spots left in between big groups, and, you know, and that was it, or they are really interested because of whatever, or it's likely they are not a very popular state in the game, and that's okay as well, right? I moved quite a bit. I was from state 665, 665, and I moved to 695. Then I moved to 7 something. Then I moved to 800. Then I moved to 899, and then I moved to 948. And that's hopefully my last stop. But I'll explain why I've done that, and that the kind of things people don't tell you, right? So that's for the second part of the video. So I moved a lot, and even for me, like I'm playing well, I'm kind of well developed. I don't need a special invite. I did not need a special invite most of the time. Like going to like if you look at your neighbor states and you look at leaderboards and you got this kind of alliance, right? So like, 6 stars, super powerful. Like these are super hard to get in. If you need a special invite, it's super hard to get in except if you are often these alliance are looking for very specific kind of player. So any top alliance is very hard to get in. So you might want to anticipate and find the alliance you want to. I'm just thinking about the order why I do things. And I'll just show you maybe. So if I wanted to move states, so you see that's where I started the game a long time ago. Not playing anymore. You see I have accounts in different places, right? So they are low level 1. So when you make a level, I think it's level 7 accounts or level something like that, you can access to the leaderboards. So you go on a range, so you can see our range, right? You see 934, 959. So you see, like, if you look, there is 960. So we go to 960 something, and we go to 930 something. there are clusters of states, right? And you're always with the same states in your cluster. That's, these cluster of states are used by the game to give you new generation of heroes. So when there is a new generation of heroes, like all of these states have it together. When there are new fire crystal level, all of these states got them together. So I know that if I wanted to check around, I need to create like a 920 and 980, for example. So if I wanted to migrate from, like, let's say I'm 800, set 800, and I want to come around that range of states, and I'll explain to you a bit later why you would want to do that. You could create an account in 820, 960, and 980 as well. So 920, 950, 980. So you are in 3 different clusters of state, and you can look at the ranking. You can start to contact people. You can be like, okay, I want to join TLO, so I contact their leaders and I see if they respond to me. In my experience, you will be ignored. Like, it's super tough to get answers from most of these people when you're looking to move. So anticipate. If you plan to move, anticipate your passes, anticipate the alliance you are targeting, talk to them before, get an agreement before, and maybe get even a plan B. I've been even recruited in the past when I was looking to move by some alliance. They told me, you're gonna get a special invite, we're gonna get you into the alliance, and then on Monday when it started, they was like, oh, our state council voted not against you, but for another player. We have someone new that came in the pool, and we selected someone else, so you're not gonna get your special invite. And if you are willing to kill 100 million worth of troops, then you can come for free. We get you a normal invite, and that's very frustrating because you kind of said, you prepared yourself to move, you said goodbye to your alliance, and then when it's time to press move, and then nobody is inviting you, and you have to you have to either stay where you are, or if you are considering moving, it's likely you are unhappy with it, right? Or you at least go to a better place, in your opinion. Or you might be like really upset with people, and you might not be able to stay safely in your state for another month. So you want to maybe have a plan A, B, C when you move. So that's really important. Either when you recruit as a state, it does not go according to plan. Like for us, the last 2 times we were recruiting a group, they decided to go somewhere else. So it's shitty, right? You say no to other people, you block the invite for them, and last moment they say, hey, you say what? Like, we decided to go here instead, or whatever. So it's transfers are messy. So that's why you want to anticipate. So let's talk about the phase quickly now. I kind of made a little extra introduction. So preparation phase 1, 3 days, so Monday to Tuesday. No, sorry. Sunday to Tuesday, you prepare stuff and you look around, you recruit people or you get recruited. Then for the next phase, I think it's 2 days. Yeah, for sure it's 2 days. So it's Wednesday and Thursday. So that's, phase 1, the president of the state in pre-transfer phase had the power to set transfer power cap threshold for chiefs, blah, blah, blah. And that's really important for later. To transfer, your power is calculated by injured troops in the infirmary and reserve. So if you have you cannot fill your infirmary and enlistment office to look weaker for the transfer, right? That's taken into account. What you can do is, I'll talk about it later. So phase 2. Phase 2 is invite. So you have 2 invite, ordinary and special invite. So ordinary invites, you have a lot, as you can imagine. So you can see here, right? We have 35 ordinary invites. So ordinary invite is for people that are within the cap of your state. So people that are below 340 million power. So we can send them an ordinary invite. For people that are above 340 million, we have to send them a special invite, or they have to get below that. And as we've seen, below that you cannot get by killing. You can kill troops. You can attack a city and really kill troops and lose them forever, but you cannot fill your infirmary or your enlistment. There are some criteria. You need to not have been transferred for 25 days. Whatever, right? So there are some things that prevent you to move, basically. But most of them is just, leaving your alliance, recalling your troops, and you should be okay. Special invite are for people that are above the cap. That's why states are looking for whales, usually big spenders. So if you are like me, for example, you are not a whale, you are not a big spender, but you are a bit above the cap. It's very hard to get a special invite because you are not interesting for many states. And I got 2 special invites. One was the dead state, so was the state kind of before that. By dead, I mean there was only 1 active alliance, and they had like 3 special invites. And as you've seen, the game is limiting you to 3. So just so you understand that clearly, you get here it says, right, the president may only issue special invite to chief exceeding transfer power cap. Each state and its president begin with 3 special invites, one of which will be returned on the 1st of every month, maximum to 3. So if you have 3 special invites, you have to use one, ideally on the best player you can. Otherwise, you will, when you get an extra one, it will be wasted. You cannot accumulate special invite more than 3. So you want to use one. So that states had no plans to get anybody else with special invite. They had 3, so they sent me one. But that was the date state, and I got lucky with the states I'm in because people really, had a good feeling with me, and I think they're happy to have me here now. But initially, some people were against getting me. I managed to get in because I had a very good feeling with the president, and he was very happy to have me there. But I know some people in the state were not happy to have such a kind of weak player, right? Because they didn't know me. They didn't know I make guides and stuff like that. So they didn't, often they won't see the value of who you are if you are not very powerful, and that's just the way the game works. So be very careful if you develop yourself. If you are looking to move, I'll suggest to hold on to items in your bags, not train too many troops, so and then you spend it on an important event like King of Icefield or SVS Prep on the state you want later. And then there is a 3rd phase, which is, so that's the invite is 2 days, so it's Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, it's 3 days then. No, it's Wednesday, Thursday. Sorry, I get confused. So that's Wednesday, Thursday. Then it's the phase 3 starts and transfers open. So anyone can move to your state, but they have to be below the cap, right? So right now with the cap, we are just at the beginning of generation 6. So last time we had transfer, 6 weeks ago, we were generation 5. And the cap was 250 million. So that's we got 90 extra million in the cap. So that's a lot, which means that we could have very strong players coming in on Friday on their own, and we do not control that. We cannot say no. If you look at here, you have 35 invites, two special, so we can invite and decide on 37 players. But the transfer cap is 55, so there are 18 players, at least 18 players we cannot decide, right? And if we don't use all of these, then it's more players we don't decide that could come in. So you could have an alliance deciding to join your state early in a new generation like us, like generation 6. Having there 2 or 3, 4 whales, killing troops and get below the cap, and they can jump on your states without you wanting them, or without you being aware they will jump. And if they are big fighters and troublemakers and issues, that it might be a real problem. So that's why you want to use and to plan as much as you can to get all the invite outs, so there are as little people that can move on Friday that you don't want to. And if you are afraid of that and your strat is very good, then you might want to lower the cap. If you're gonna invite players and they are below the cap for most of them, and the one you invite with special invites, they are above the cap, and that's okay. You could put maybe 300k, because that's gonna work for you this time. But that's why you can only do that if you plan ahead, because you decide on that amount in phase 1 and you cannot change it after, right? So that's you set it up on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the 3rd phase is I think it's Friday, Sunday, so it's nearly a week later. So you cannot fix that later. But that's really important to have conversation with your state, understand how that works, and all of that. If you look at the states around you, you might see they've changed things, right? So now they are marking states as inactive. Transfer here seems ill-advised. So that's the states. That's not in a good shape. Like most people left, it's a dead state. That's what we call a dead state. And you have other states that are, but they are so little right now, there used to be a lot more, what we call leading states. So these leading states are usually very, very active states. So they are winning SVS prep a lot, they have a lot of alliance, they have a lot of players, they probably recruited a lot in previous transfers. And we used to have a lot more leading states now. We have very little amount of leading states, but there is a few. So these are very strong states. And if your state is a leading state, you can see your maximum transfer is below. So for us, it's 340 mils. For them, it's 213. So they can only recruit like kind of weaker player that are a bit behind. They cannot recruit very strong players because they are strong enough. It's to prevent big states that are already stronger to snowball and to get so strong that they, like everyone wants to get in and nobody wants to go in the other state. So they are preventing strong states to recruit properly. Because see, they don't have any special invite as well. So, and they have less transfers, right? They have 20 invites instead of 35, and they have 30 instead of 55, and they have no special invite. So when you are in a leading state, you don't have to bother too much about transfers. You want to recruit basically active players. And what I will talk about in a moment makes sense. So let me see if I missed something for transfer. So I covered the 3 states, I covered the cost, I covered the president, I covered the phases. So requirements, we talk about it, right? But that's not much. The cost, you cannot anticipate how much ticket it's gonna cost you. I transfer, sometimes it cost me 16 at times. One time it cost me 16, one time it cost me 14. It was just after I spent all my bags on SVS, so I was like as powerful as I could, and I was powerful for Gen 5. Now it cost me 9, so that varies quite a bit based on your power spike. But for me, I have a lot of items in my bags, so that makes sense. If I use all I have in my bags, I'll probably back to 14. So I told you a bit about my story. And there are things I need to explain to you, and are they in the rules? So that are the detail of the event. So let's talk about events. Let's talk about removing power. So I said that you cannot lower your power by feeding infirmary and feeding enlistment office. But if I leave my alliance and I send troops to someone that's stronger than me, let's find a FC8, that's our bear trap 2. Let's say I'm attacking Denise, one of our bigger player. You have the same power as me, but he's twice powerful, twice or 3 times stronger than me. Because I have more troops, but basically it. And if I attack this city, I will have, I showed you yesterday in the replay, right? But I suicided some troops from my farm. Not because I want to transfer it, just because it's too fat and it's impacting matchmaking for us to have a stronger power farm that is just have useless troops, so I just kill some. So you see, like if I send a march from my farm to my main city got a bit of injured troops and my farm lost 24k. So if you kill troops that way and they are lost for good, I will never get them back, then you can lower your power, and that could make you from, like me, for example, 380 million to below 340 and be able to need a regular invite. Another way you can do it is you remove your hero gear. See, that's removing my power, right? I lost 3 million. So if you remove all your hero gear and you put all your heroes to level 1, that's the power you can remove. But it's limited, right? It's depending on the strength of your gear. For me, if I reset all my heroes to level 1 and I remove all my gear, you don't need to reset the level of your gear. You just have to remove it from your heroes. That's enough. You will lower your power. It's not going to change the amount of tickets you need. It's just going to change your power, and you might go from needing a special invite to needing a regular invite. So if you remove all your gear, so let's say I wanted to transfer with a normal invite. I had 40 million, too much. So what I will do, I'll remove all my gear, reset all my hero. Let's say it's removing me 15 million power. I still need to lose 25 million power. So I'll have to kill 25 million of troops. But that's a lot better than killing 40 million of troops, right? Because 1 million troops, it's 100k more or less. So by removing all my gear, resetting all my heroes, I save 150k of troops I don't have to kill if I wanted to move. So that's really important to understand, and that's the only thing you can do. The other things you can do, of course, is not spending your items, keeping them in your bags, and using them after transfer. So if you know you're about to transfer, I'll suggest to accumulate. I don't accumulate because I'm transferring. I accumulate to make points for SVS, just to be clear. But that's something you should do, is accumulate in your bag and not spend things that give you power, basically. Something else to understand that's really, really important, and that's the thing that people usually don't tell you, and that's really important either for you to consider new states or for you to recruit, is your city has a creation date. You made your city in a certain date of the game. And transfers, they allow you to move. Let me see if they changed it. And if you can see it, because I'm not sure the game limits. Transfer. So see, like your state score is in the top 100. So for example, if I, me removing power of my on my farm is helping us, having a lower state rate, and so maybe we don't become leading state, at some point. I don't think we are close, but we are decent though. So where is it? Do they mention that? Because there is a rule that's very important for you to know. Okay, and I don't think it's being mentioned. Key details. Oh, I wanted to do events, okay. I'll do events right after. So basically, and let me show if I can show you. Not anymore. Okay, not anymore. So basically, the game allows you to move at the beginning around the city, around the state that is 80 days. It's 80 or 90. That's I forgot actually. And you can filter right by language if you need to. But for me, there is nothing meeting my transfer cap. It's allowing you to move 80 to 90 days around, so you can move to older states. So let's say I want to move to older states because that makes no sense, but I could move 90 days in that direction, right? Or I could move 90 days in the other direction. So for me, what happened? Why am I around 950 when I started at 665? I started the game on 422. I played until Fire Crystal 2 or 3. They released Fire Crystal 5. I was so much behind. I made so many mistakes. That was my first time playing this game. I was like, it's. I don't know. It's not. I don't say it's not fun for everyone, but for me, it was not fun to be so much behind. And I'm like, either I need to fix that with money, or I need to start fresh and not make that many mistakes. And I was not willing to fix it with money, so I decided to start fresh. So I found a group of players on Discord, on the official Discord. We started on state 665, and I decided to spend a tiny bit more to catch up at the beginning. And my plan B was, if I'm too behind again, I'll transfer to newer states. And I decided to transfer to newer states. So we when they were releasing Fire Crystal 3 and Fire Crystal 4-5, I was less behind at the first time because I played a lot better and I spent a bit more. But still, I was nowhere. Like the beginning it goes really quickly. Spenders progress a lot more faster. So I was too much behind. So I decided to transfer. So for me, my 90 days close to my city creation is around that. And I think I could go to like the maximum before they made another change in the game was around 952 or 57, I think. I could not go further than that. From 665, I could not go further from 950 something because that's 90 days between these states were created 90 days after I created my city. So you have a limit from that. That's why I was aiming to go in the 900. And when I move, as I said, from 665 to 695 to 700 something to 800 something to 899. I was hoping that 899 was my last stop, but we merged alliance, and the time of events I think changed, and it was mostly time of events were mostly for Asia people, because spenders were from Asia and did not work for me at all in winter with my schedule, with my lifestyle and everything. So I was like, I'll miss too many events. There is no point. Like it really does not work for me. With even summertime, it's even worse sometimes. So I was like, I cannot have. For me, if I don't participate in events, I don't play a game basically. So I was like, okay, I need to move again. So I look around, and I got invited to that state, which is for me is where I wanted to land. So that's why my journey is ended. Is where I wanted to land. So I'm happy to be here. But that means that I'm 80 to 90 days older than other people. So when I played in state 655 or 695, if you look at leaderboard, if you look at Tonton, here you will see 60. You won't see 10. You will see 60. If you look at Furnace, like because I'll be closer to 15 because I have so much in my bag in terms of Fire Crystal, and I could start to be Fire Crystal 8, so maybe I can even be in the top 10 after SVS, depending on how these people are spending and if they go to Fire Crystal 8 as well. So I'll be able to be early Fire Crystal 8 probably. So right now it's just I have like 3 months plus 6 months of spending on Fire Crystal in my bags. So I look a bit low, but I used to be 60. Everywhere I used to be 60, 70, 80. On Hero Power I will even be more than 60. I'll be in the top 100. And if you look now, and it's me saving for 3 months, right? I've saved for 3 months. I'm top 23. I'm top 17, and I'll be top 10 or close to top 10 after SVS when I spend everything in my bag, right? So because my city is 90 days old, like I have 90 days of just of getting rewards from the game, getting daily things, Fire Crystal from Intel missions, from here. Like I have 90 days more of all the game give you for free than everyone else in these days. So I'm a lot more powerful compared to the average people, which is what I was looking for. And that's like you have two types of player in Whiteout Survival. Often you have a competitive player, kind of like me, and some people are even far more competitive. So they care to be strong, and after these people are big spenders. Either they it's a good financial decision for them or not, but often they are big spenders. And you have like weaker players that are competitive and they spend a bit and everything. And you have people that play for social as well, and they could be big spenders too. For me, I'm not such a social player. Like I care less. I always play with people I enjoy, but first being effective and efficient with the game is more important. That's why I'm making guides, is to help people with that. I'm not making guides about how to make the best group of friends in Whiteout Survival, right? I'm making guides about how to min-max events and how to optimize the way you play. So transfer is a great way for that. If you are feel like me, you feel weak, you feel you made mistakes, and it's maybe, if you played a year and you are Fire Crystal 7, it's maybe a bit late to start over on a new state. It might be worth, just transferring. Something they added as well recently is like the older you state are, the more days you can transfer. So you can go even beyond the 90 days. So for me, I'm very happy where I am. If my state was to die for whatever reason, like whales are going, we are getting an alliance and it's destroying our states, it's state merger and it's exploding the states and it does not go right at all. If I decided to move, I will move as far as I can again, and to find an alliance that suits me as far as I can. And you see right now, I could even move to... Because when you cannot move, you have a special message saying that your city is too old for this stage, right? That's what I was looking at that earlier. You have a message when you reach that. So for me, when I arrived around here, it was okay to move left to... here I could transfer, and like around here, or I forgot if it was this one or around here, there was a message that your city is too old to transfer. So now it's not the case anymore. So we don't know how many days they're adding. They don't tell us. Initially they said there is a cap of like 45 days from where you can move. That's when I started my journey, right? I started my journey, you can move 45 days, in one direction. So on older state, on newer state, then they increased it to 90. And now they are making it The older your state is, the older you can move, but I don't know how it is. So the benefit of doing that, of moving only to newer states, is you are a lot more powerful. Okay, that's one good thing. The disadvantage is I think I stayed 6 months in Generation 5. So like the game is releasing new heroes every 80 days more or less, so less than 3 months. So for me, I stayed 6 months in Generation 5 because I move a bit before Generation 5 and then I move like 3 times during Generation 5. So you like game get a bit boring. So that's something you have to understand. Like to play in, to be stronger or things like that, it's really tough. Another issue was that I quickly, because I kept moving backwards and the transfer cap is not increasing as much, I became needed a special invite. So the last transfer I had a special invite and it was a nightmare. I got invited by a dead state the first time and initially was happy with them and like they used a special invite on me, so I'll stay at least 6 months. And then alliance merger happened and then it was not working for me at all. So I was like there is no point to be like there is no point to stay 6 months to quit the game because I don't enjoy playing. I'll rather quit. I'll rather leave. It was a bit sad, but yeah, that happens. So you will have, if you decide to do like me, to transfer a lot to get to a newer set and to get stronger, you will have to keep a lot of things in your bags, particularly training troops, because that's mostly what make you. If you look at my power, right? Building 8 million, tech power 12 million, chief gear 19 million, hero power 38 million, pet power 18 million. So that's very little. Most of my power is coming for troops. So what's preventing you to move while troops do not ask for more transfer passes, right? It's what's putting you above the cap and preventing you to transfer. So if you plan to transfer a lot, either to join a friend, maybe, some people have a friend, like I could have a friend in state 700 and I will want to move forward. So the issue with moving forward is these people have older cities and you are weaker, right? So that's something to understand. If you move 100 states forward, they are more or less 20-25 days older than you. So they are more powerful, especially if they spend as much as you. They have been spending for 25 more days and they have been free rewards for 25 more days. So I'll suggest to move forward very mindfully and only to join friends, and maybe you can have your friends moving backwards to newer states. So you get both, you are not getting weaker and he's getting stronger. So that's probably a better way to look at it. So you have these limits to keep in mind, and they are probably somewhere in the game, but I cannot find them right now. So 90 days on the first few transfers, so it's gonna take you a while anyway to get there, because you see, like, for us we can move to state 1,200, so they are like 15 days older than us, So if I wanted to move 90 days, I'll have to move 15 days. Then next time I'll have to move 20 days. But so it takes a few transfers. So it takes a lot of passes. It's an issue with the power as well, because at some point you get such a newer state that you are too strong compared to the cap. And the social aspect is very tough, to be honest. Like, I enjoy playing with every alliance I've been in. Even on the dead state, the guys were really cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm like, if I was not planning to go to 900 range of states, I would have stayed on state 695. These dudes were amazing. Like, the alliance was so well organized, so well run. Like, I think it ended up exploding and they moved, and most of them are not in that state anymore because they were, having internal issue, and people get tired after a while of being R4, It's tiring to be R4 or R5, so some people quit and some people move because they were fed up and stuff. So even a very good state, a very good alliance, it can blow up. That's why I'm suggesting to get passes, right? So many of these people moved. But yeah, like, it heartbreaking every time you have to move. So that's something you have to be able to handle. And what's your priority? Getting stronger or finding people you love to play with? And you could stop along the way as well, right? You could stop along the way. That's okay as well to say, okay, I'll go back 80 days, but 50 days in, you find the perfect alliance, stop as well. So when you recruit, events, okay, there are so much things I want to tell you. Events. So on the day you transfer, so let's say it's a day I'm transferring today. many events gonna reset. Not all of them, but many events gonna reset. So for example, if there was an armament competition day, I could complete it on these states, and when I transfer, I could complete it again on the other states. So that will ask me a lot of rewards, but I could get the minimum, all the rewards, not the ranking rewards, right? But the reward that the events gave you. So many events are like that. So what I suggest when you transfer, and the list in the game is not fully, if you look at it, it says, right? Fishing tournament, your involvement will immediately cease, so that means you're gonna start over and the reward gonna be mailed to you. Armament competition and officer project, you will get the reward and it will be sent to, and you can start fresh. Hero rally, same. You will get all of what you paid sent to you by email, and you can buy a new one. But not all of the events are in it. But you might want to double check that if there is an important event for you. But what I usually do when I transfer is I complete all the events I can. So I don't transfer at midnight sharp. I wait a few hours. And I will finish, for example, King of Icefield if I was transferring. I don't think Mercenary Prestige reset, but you might want to double check. If not, I'll spend stamina to finish it, to do it again on the new states. And you can get a lot of extra little things when you transfer. So that's a small benefit, but you can get extra things when you transfer because some events are resetting and you can do them again in the new state. So that was about events. So now recruiting. The game is on a cycle. Like I said, there are 80 to 90 days for a new generation. And they are transferred every 4 to 6 weeks. So you basically know, like for example, we had some people from older states interested to join us. So they are interested to move like a good amount of states. And sometimes you're like, are they coming with us or not? Will they be in the same group? Because I did not show the group, but you have groups, right? You can only move. Where are the groups? Maybe in an in-game mail. System. Fix it. Okay. So you see you have groups, right? So for us, 755 2021. So if someone is from 740, we wanted to recruit an alliance from 740, they cannot join us this time. Or if we wanted to recruit an alliance for 1050, we cannot, right? They are not in our group. And these groups are often based on hero generation. That's why I was mentioning that you get a generation of heroes every 80 days, more or less, and you get transfer every 30 to 40 days. So there will be, it's hard to imagine, I did not prepare a visual for it, but there will be a cycle, right? Because state 700, in a month, they will be in Gen 7. Some of them. I don't know where it will stop at 800, 850, we don't really know, but some of these states, older states, will be in Gen 7. So they won't be in our group. We will still be in Gen 6 in 1 month. And some of them will be, so newer states, they will be in Gen 6 as well. So what will likely happen next time is we cannot move as far to older states, and we can move further in newer states. It's the same for recruiting, right? So right now for us, it's interesting to recruit because we can get older player, older cities, so they are stronger. So like me, that come from the past, basically, that from older states, I'm more powerful in average than people here because I have 80 days more or 85 days more on my city. So these people, if we will recruit someone from state 800, they will have more or less 45 days older. So they are well developed, they did 1 or 2 SVS more, they did 1 or 2 King of Icefield, so they have a lot of extra rewards. So it's very interesting for us to recruit right now because we will definitely recruit stronger players. So when you look to recruit, you will see there are cycles. So next month, we will, or in 6 weeks, whenever they do the transfer, we will not be able to recruit as many players from older states, and we will be able to recruit more players from newer states as well. So if you anticipate, like I said, and you plan your recruiting, you know that if you are, let's say, like you are looking to get an alliance from 750, but they need to transfer because they are too big. They are very unlikely to be able to come into transfers. If I were them, I would not move to our state, for example. If they were in the 800, that's okay. 900, it's very likely they will be in our states. If they are close to 900, it's a lot more likely. But if they are close to 700, like they're not gonna be 99% of the chances they won't be in our group. And that, if you look at timeline, more or less when states will have. I could go more in depth with that, but if I make a character on 755, if I look at if I look at the monument, I go at the top of the monument, so that's day 2 of a state, so I know when the state was created. So I need to make a city on their state, I need to level it up to level 8. I look at the monument, I know the creation date of the states. I'll show you what I do usually, but I've shown that in a previous video, but maybe not all of you have seen it. Let me just prepare it for you. I just need timeline. I just need to change it a bit. Let me make a duplicate actually. I'll make a duplicate. I'm back in a second, guys. Just did not plan to talk about that. So let's see if it works. Master sheet. Yeah, it works. Okay, so let's say that the master sheet so that's the creation date of state 948, right? So let's say I go to state 755, and I might have which state I was in. I used to be on 800, so I know more or less. So let's say it was 21 of January for them. So let's say it was 1st of January. So that you find this kind of information on the official Discord and wiki, but it's not automatically calculating for you. So let's say they were created on the 1st of January. We are Gen 6, right? So state 755, they should get, they are eligible for generation 7 this week, which means they will have it. If they don't have it this week and they are in our transfer group, it means they will likely get it next week, right? They will get it during SVS or the week after. So again, it's very, very, very unlikely that state 755 will be able to come into transfer if they were a big alliance to our state, because they will be in generation 7 and we will be in generation 6. And for us, if you look at generation 7, it's end of May. So it might take, 2 months until we get, or 2 or 3 months until they get a chance to come. If they are splitting their alliance in 2, that really sucks for them. So you want to be mindful of that. And that the same way, that the same thing happening, with newer states, right? If I would be a newer state, let's say last time, I need to go back to the email system. Last time we were probably with states, up to 1,080, 1,100 or something like that. So this time they cannot come with us because we moved to Gen 6 and they are not in Gen 6 yet. So they will be able to move next time to us. So like when you are recruiting an alliance or a group, or you want to move your alliance, you have to take that into consideration. You have to look at generation. This group 7 is likely generation 6. And sometimes, when there are too many states in the same generation, they'll make multiple groups with the same generation. Maybe 1,182 they have generation 6 as well. It's very unlikely, but maybe they have it, right? So like there are so many states, they cannot make a group of 500 or 600 states, so they'll make multiple smaller groups. So that's something to consider. So when you move and you are looking for a new alliance, either you move, to newer states, and you move like bigger number, and you will get stronger, and that's something I'll suggest to consider. That's something I've done for myself, and you see I've been moving from rank 60 on my state to rank 15 10 to 15. So for me, it's a lot more fun because if I play a foundry, I can actually attack people. If I play a canyon, I can actually do something. If there is SVS battle, I can actually go on the other state and destroy a lot of cities of the opponent state during battle day. Like I have ways to battle and to fight in a way that make the game fun for me. When I was ranked 60 and I was so much behind, I was just weak. So I was not able to do that. I just was not able to do that, and it was not as fun, to be honest. It's a lot, it's a fighting game, so it's fun when you are the stronger. So that's something you could consider doing. And if you move 50 states, if you are like 750 and you move to 800, you won't see the difference. You will start to see the difference if you move 150 states or something like that. So if you were 755, if you go to 900, then you will start to see that you are stronger. If you move, 2-3 weeks on states that are newer from 2-3 weeks, you won't see any difference. For me, I've really seen it in the last 2 states, around 900. I really saw that I was okay. Now I'm not top 50 anymore and a weak player in the middle of many weak players. I'm kind of a decent position. But for recruiting, it's very important to understand that and to not make, not waste an alliance. Not split your alliance for too many months, then people will quit and stuff like that. So you have to think about that and to calculate these things. And if you want to access to, if you want to know like an information, let's say, let's go back to it because that's not public yet. But master sheet. If you want to know like a date of your generation for one of your states, just tell me the creation date of your state. So you have 2 ways to know the creation date of your states. Either you logged every day and you logged every day and you never missed a day, and you calculate, you remove, you use an online calculator to, you put 2 days date and you say, okay, remove 459 days and tell me what date that was. So you get the date of the creation of your city, because you might not have created your city day 1 of a state, which is a mistake, but you might not. Or you go to the monument, and if you missed a day and you get the second event, the oldest date, and you give me this one or the other one in the comment, for example, or in game, and I'll tell you, I'll give you like a date of generation when they are expected or stuff like that. If you want to, that's okay. I can do that for you. At some point, I'll make that calculator available as well. And just need to find how I will make it. So I think we are closing on nearly an hour. I actually nearly need to go. I'll get a coffee before we go with the wife. Did I cover everything I wanted? That's a long video for something that simple, but as I said, people won't tell you all of that. People won't tell you all of that. Maybe something to consider as well. And when I mean dead states, I don't mean the ones that are marked inactive. Yeah, that's another thing I can tell you as well. Yeah. You will see. So first 3 days, so until Tuesday evening, we don't, you are just basically setting up your states. Then you will start to see on Wednesday and Thursday which states are sending invites. Like that invites, you can send it, but it's only used if someone accepts it, right? For special invite, I think they are wasted if someone do not accept it. So you won't. Okay, no. So that's the same with special invite. The used invite will be returned if the target declines it, goes into another state, or remains unresponsive. So you cannot really waste invites, but they are returned at the end of the event, right? So let's say that you invite a whale and they are not changing state. That means that you will have your special invite taken by that person, and you will have it at the end of the event, but you might not be able to invite someone else this time. But so on Wednesday and Thursday, you will start to see which states are popular, because popular states, these ordinary invites and these special invites will go very quickly. So if you want to know if it's an active state and and a very well, how do you say? An active popular state, you will see the amount of invite. And on Friday, when it's open up to everyone, if you see no invite accepted, nobody transferring on their own, you see it's not an active state. You see it's a kind of a dead state. You can still move to it, like as I said, on the dead state. I got city skin on events, right? Because I could rank top 10 on seasonal event because there was just one strong alliance. The strong alliance was actually very well organized, very well run. The state was dead because they had a path that was complicated, like people were burning each other and fighting a lot. So basically some alliance transferred off the state. Some people stopped playing because they were burnt, and the whale that was burning everyone left as well. So now you find yourself in a state that is half dead, maybe not dead, half dead, but with a good alliance. The issue that they could not win Prep 5 in SVS, so they would not even try anymore, but they will win battle often because they are strong spender, they were well organized, they were fighting very well. So it was a pleasant state to be in. If you want to rank, if you want to get rewards, it's a lot easier on a half dead state than on a very popular state, right? If you go to one of these big states, like if you look at our neighbors, like see state 934, see they have 3 alliance in the top 6. Can you imagine how much of a monster of a state that is? We are the strongest alliance by far, I'd say, in our stage currently, and we are not even in the top 6. And them, they have 3 alliance in the top 6. So if you go on that state, you're like, okay, I want to go on that state, you know, it's such a good state. Yeah, it is in many ways, right? But you will never rank top 10 in any event unless you're a big spender, because like that means they have so many spenders, right? Like if you look at TLO, like 2.2 billion, that dude is a monster, but they have a lot of strong players, you know, 600. Yeah, I mean it's not that crazy for many of them, right? But they have spenders, right? 370 Fire Crystal. You see the Fire Crystal is very high on many players, and then they have another alliance just like that. So yeah, so okay, you could go there. It looks a very strong state. They win every preparation phase, no problem. Very likely they might win every. I think they have a state alliance 934, so that's why they don't have star. They are in another alliance. They are not on this alliance, but they're probably very well organized, very well run. But then you will never rank and get a city skin in the seasonal events, right? Unless you buy 2 packs of 100 euro. Yeah, I guess that's really it, guys, for today. For the states, I need to run. I need to get coffee and get ready. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll upload the video as soon as I can, and I wish you an amazing Sunday. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye. Hope it was helpful. Cheers.